Sometimes Christians are criticized for being sort of pie in the sky. And what people mean by that is sometimes Christians can be characterized as only caring about salvation, some future reality, some reward that we'll get someday, we'll eat our pie in the sky, and we don't actually care about people on earth who are actually in need. That's a criticism. And maybe at first glance, this month's Word of Life seems to support that criticism. Paul tells us to set our hearts on things that are above, not on things on earth. Is this Paul telling us to sort of be pie in the sky, wait for your reward, just don't care about the things around you? I don't think so. And here's why. When Paul tells us to set our heart on those things that are above, what's he talking about? He's not talking about just some sort of future reality, future reward, some sort of like nebulous paradise that we might experience someday. No, Paul is telling us to set our hearts on Jesus because Jesus is above. Jesus, who is risen and alive and sits at the right hand of the Father. We're setting our hearts on Jesus. And who is Jesus? Jesus is the Word made flesh. The Word come among us. Jesus became a part of the human family. He went about doing good on this earth. And so, as Christians, when we set our hearts on Jesus, that love that we have for him overflows. It takes on flesh, so to speak. And we're able to do good as well. Let me give you some examples. I think of my friend Hazel. Hazel has a deep love for Jesus. She has set her heart on those things that are above. Her heart is hidden in God. And yet Hazel looked around her community because she loved God, and she noticed that there were a lot of homeless people who seemed to be ignored. And so Hazel got some friends together, and they decided that every week they would go out for an afternoon and they would simply have conversations with these men and women living on the streets, get to know their names and their stories. And through their focus on the individual dignity of each person, then they are able to see what kind of help do they actually need. Hazel could do that because she set her heart on those things that are above. I think also of my friend Megan. Megan is an amazing artist, and she has a deep love for Jesus, and she sets her heart on those things that are above. Her gaze is focused on Christ. But because she loves Jesus, that love is able to overflow. It takes on flesh in her artwork. She's able to create so much beauty and bring it into the world that so many people are able to benefit from it because she was willing to have her heart on Jesus, on those things that are above. So you and I, we might not be called to go out and be with the homeless, or we might not be called to create artwork, but the fact is that each of us have been given unique gifts and talents and charisms from God above. And as we set our hearts on Jesus, on the Word made flesh, we can look at all those beautiful gifts that God has given us, and we can ask ourselves, how might I be called to allow these to take on flesh, to overflow, to actually do good for other people? They're not meant to just be kept for ourselves. They're actually meant to become incarnate, just like Jesus was incarnate, Word made flesh. So this month, we do want to set our heart on those things that are above. But that means looking at those things that are on earth and asking ourselves, how can I love? How can I use my gifts, my talents, the ways that God has blessed me? How can I allow all those things to be an expression of my love for God and my love for others. Hey, thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to keep up with other great content to help you live your life of unity with God and with one another, make sure you subscribe to Focolare Media so that you can continue to live your divine adventure.